And that was a question that was asked to me. When I've been involved, like Josh had mentioned, I've been involved in this profession for 15 years. I was with the company for 5 years and it went out of business. And how many of you guys ever met someone that had tried direct sales or network marketing and for one reason or another it didn't work and so they had kind of a bad taste in their mouth, okay? Well, imagine like condensing that, like all of that happening in 5 years. Like I was very jaded to say the least. And so I actually went into corporate recruiting. And one of the things that I loved about that is I loved working with people, but I was a person that I was stuck in a cubicle all day. I mean, does anybody else work in a cubicle? Come on, be proud. Nobody else? Okay. That was me. I was a cubicle person. I mean, it was awful. Any of you guys ever watch Office Space? Okay. That was my life. Like, it was so sad. Like, I had this big old plastic, like, clock from Target. You guys ever been? It was, like, right above my cubicle. And literally, I mean, I remember getting to my office, and I would sit down, and I would be, like, super busy. I would do all this work, and I would look up, and I was thinking that it would be, like, I could take a break, right, or lunchtime or what have you. I would look up, and it would be, like, 8:05, and I got there at like 8. And I'm like, wow, this is gonna be a long day. How many of you guys can relate to that? Like I was like, oh my God, my life was like the Groundhog Day. You guys ever seen the movie Groundhog Day with Bill Murray? Like every day was the same thing, right? Every day was like, it's time to make the donuts. Like the old Dunkin' Donuts commercial. Like I was like, God, I was just grinding it out. And fortunately, someone put me on a list, right? Because for those of you that have your own business, whether you're in real estate, whether you're in mortgage, whether you're in any type of sales or what have you, all of our businesses, they're all built off referral. And that's the same thing here in direct sales. It's no different. Like a lot of times people think, well, your business is so different than everybody else's. I'm like, no, it's not. I mean, we build a book of business like everybody else. But typically the difference is we get paid on it month after month after month after month. My friends are in real estate. They're only good as the last house they sold. My friends that are in the mortgage business, they're only as good as the last loan they closed, and then they have to start all over again. Here, I'm like, wow, I have the ability where I can earn month after month after month after month, and on a part-time basis, 5 to 10 hours a week, I can tie it into my life. I don't have to like get rid of something, because I think for a lot of times, for a lot of people, they have to, if your life is so busy, typically, you have to cut something out to bring something in, and here you don't have to do that. And that was one of the things that, quite frankly, I wasn't willing to do. I'm like, I like my life. Like, I don't want to have to cut something out to bring Modere in. And here they said, Sarah, no, what you're going to see, the concept of what Modere is, all of us, we already do it every day. We do Modere every single day, whether you know it or not. And I realized that very quickly once they showed me the concept behind it. So as we're going to kind of walk through this piece of it, and so I'm going to kind of share with you guys kind of like the big idea of our business. But I really want you to understand, like, our business is extremely, extremely simple. But for those of you that have ever been introduced to direct sales or network marketing or ever been a part of it, we just kind of took all the amazing things of that profession, and we've enhanced it, and all the things that none of us like, right? A lot of times we hear about people that have a bunch of product in their garage, they've got a bunch of soap in their bathroom, they have to have the parties that they're like, listen, if one or more of my girlfriends invite me to go to a party that I feel obligated I have to go to, I'm going to lose it. You know what I mean? Like all these different things that a lot of people don't like, we kind of took all that stuff out. And we said, hey, let's like just make it really simple for people like you and I, as we live our life, that we can build a very, very cool company on a part-time basis. So one of the things I want you guys to understand is that Modere right now, we are capitalizing on a $500 billion market right now. And basically, what you have to understand is this, is that there's a huge shift that's happening. There's a huge shift that's happening from brick and mortar type companies that are businesses, right, storefronts. Some of you maybe have your own storefront. But how many of us agree that like it's switching so fast where so many people are going to online, right? How many of us know that like, for me personally, I can't tell you how many times like I used to go to a Target, and I still do because there's some things I just physically like to go and see there. But I can't tell you how many times I now order on Target.com. All the time, and they realize that. Whether people are more in remote areas, whether it's time convenience. I know for myself, I have a 1-year-old son. My life is crazy busy. I love Amazon Prime. You know, anybody else? Amazon people? Okay, I'm a Primer. I love Prime. I mean, it's $70 for the whole year. Free shipping, 2-day shipping, drop ship to your house. I'm like, you know what? I'd rather do that, having a little teeny tiny baby where I have all my diapers, everything shipped to me, instead of trudging in the middle of winter 10 below, going to do all this stuff and having to bring everything back. I mean, it's just so much more of a convenience factor. So understand that like what's happening right now with the shift is so big. So if you look at a lot of these online companies, now here's the thing. Some of these companies you've heard of, some of them I had never heard of before. But once I got introduced to Modere and I really started doing my homework, I started realizing, wow, there's some big companies doing huge things. I mean, some of these companies literally are doing billions of dollars of revenue literally overnight because they realize so many people are shopping online, whether it be Fab, whether it be Guild. For those of you that have kids, from Bye Bye Baby to like you name it. I mean, there's so many different sites that people are going to nowadays. And so we just said, hey, what if we could piggyback on that? What if we could piggyback on kind of what we call social shopping, right? So what we're doing inside of Modere is we're kind of taking a convergence of two big things. So, for example, we're taking the convergence of direct sales and network marketing, which sometimes people go, they don't understand like how big that market is. I mean, that market last year did $167 billion. $167 billion in revenue that industry did. But yet there's people say, oh, you know what, that industry doesn't work. Well, let me tell you, someone's making up there are some people making some incredible income here. So I think about it too, like for example, for myself, I worked at a CPA firm. What was my company actually doing in revenue every single year? Were they even doing 2 million? Were they even doing 10 million? Were they doing 167 billion like direct sales? So for myself, I had to realize that, you know what, I had the ability to be involved in a profession that, man, there were some great things happening with that profession. But also now we're combining with new age retail, like social shopping. So social shopping, I do have to understand, like all of us, we're already doing it. But the problem is none of us are getting incentivized or we're getting paid to do it. We're all, if we're on Facebook, if we're on Twitter, if we're on Instagram, if we're on Pinterest, whatever we're on, even just word of mouth, if we're talking, if we're texting, if we're sharing, I mean, you name it, we're always doing it. Think about it, ladies, how many times are we sharing a recipe on Facebook? We're sharing something we just bought on Facebook. We're sharing all these different ideas, these cool things, something we saw on Pinterest. We do it all the time, but the reality is we don't get paid a dime for any of that. So they just said, hey, let's take the behaviors that we're already doing, and let's combine it with direct sales, and let's create an amazing company. So guess what? Welcome to Modere. That's who we are. Right? Pretty cool. So what we've done is that we kind of combined both things. And so what we've created is we've created a brand new industry that's called social retail. That's what we are. So people say, hey, what do you guys do? I'm like, hey, I'm involved in a really cool industry that we just created called social retail. That's what we do. So we're a lifestyle brand. So Modere is a cool lifestyle brand. All we're doing is we're piggybacking on huge growth categories. Really basically inside everyday essentials, okay? And there's stuff that people use every single day. So you'll kind of get a chance to see like how our site looks is very much similar to for those of you that shop online. We do the exact same thing. You have the ability to shop through your iPad, through your phone, through your desktop. It's very cool, very slick, very modern, very minimalistic. It's beautiful when people look at it. These are actually some of the categories that we work with. So people always ask us, well, what are the products that you guys sell? Now you have to understand, like in most direct sales and network marketing companies, their science is always on their product. But here's the challenge. The challenge is typically they have someone that stands in front of the room that has a lab coat on, that can read off all the scientific stuff of all the stuff on the product. Why it's the most amazing product in the world and all the scientific stuff and all that, and that's great. But for average people like myself, I could never explain it. I could never do it. And so we just said, you know what, instead of trying to say that we've got like the magic berry from the Himalayas and it cures cancer, which all of us have heard those crazy things, right? We wanted to make sure that like, we don't have any of those crazy medical claims. We just said, you know what, let's really be able to target every single person. So what are things that people use every single day? And you know what, sometimes people go, I can't get that excited about, shampoo. I can't get that excited about laundry pods. But guys, you have to understand, like, if you Google like laundry pods and like what Tide did their very first like quarter in business, it's ridiculous what they've done. And you have to understand, like for us, we're just like, hey, why reinvent the wheel? Why don't we just like jump into this huge pool of what people are buying every single day, but let's maybe have something that's a little bit more stylish, maybe a little bit more safe, and let's have a